Monaesha Pinto.
So first of all, thank you for doing this. It means quite a bit to me.
Pleasure.
That you would do this.
And it's an opportunity for me to give testimony, because we never give testimony otherwise. So we're all reticent and shy, and we forget, I think, in our own path, the many miracles God has wrought. Yeah. So we need to remind ourselves. So when we talk about something, many years after it's happened, when it's happened, we are, other than giving glory to God, we are remembering that wonderful things happen and good things happen.
And that's what this project's about. So, what do you think God has asked of you?
I think just to be and rely on Him, seriously. And for years, I had two ill parents in my room, and both who were critically ill, and a lot of other problems. And I used to, every night, be able to sleep in 2 minutes, just literally, very clearly. In fact, it's not with me now, this image, but basically resting on Jesus's lap. He's seated, I'm just laying my head on his lap, and he's addressing the multitude. He's not even addressing me, but I'm there, he knows I'm there. And I'd go to sleep like that every night. And why it happened and what it happened, I don't know, maybe I needed him. But it just happened and lasted with me for 5 years. And now it's gone. Maybe I don't need that experience of Jesus. But it really was very vivid and very there. And I do it every night. I didn't have to try, like in meditation, you have to achieve a state. I just go automatically, like you'll tuck, people have habits of tucking their pillow, or folding their pillow, or holding their teddy. And this is what I do. I just rest on Jesus' lap, and it was clear. And I'm sure if I'd concentrated more, I might have even heard what he was talking to the multitude about. But it was really, really amazing. And sometimes I wish that I could have that experience again. But 5 years, every night. And every night. And I was a child at one stage, a few years before that, who was scared sometimes to sleep. So at one stage I was taking sleeping pills, etc. And then suddenly my mind used to work. Here I just go to sleep.
Tell me more about why Mary Magdalene is so powerful a figure for you.
Because I think she was a woman like many. I think she was very human, and I think she genuinely loved Christ. That means she was a genuine disciple. I'm not talking about all sorts of other associations which might, and I think the Bible is one of God's immense love. Seriously. So I don't think women need to be virgins. Maybe even Mary didn't need to be a virgin. Because actually if you study the history, now don't include this in anything I say, but if you study, and I have this cousin of mine who heads an order called the Fratelli Christiani. So if you're ever in Rome, they look after you. And they're an amazing lot of priests. They're basically Irish, now American, there are a lot of them. But it started in Ireland. He was married, the head of their order, but he was a widow. And I find the Catholic Church excuses widows a lot. They can remarry, they can do everything. My grandfather married again. If the children are small, they can get away with all sorts of things. In those days, Edmund Rice, and he was in Ireland, and of course there was no school system in Ireland. There was a lot of things. So he started this order where they are brothers. They cannot be priests and they cannot say Mass. And they were basically an educational order which set up some of the finest schools. Even in Delhi we have etc. And I have these two cousins, my father's, and that's why I say faith is a gift, because none of the sons were religious. And he married a Parsi woman, that's the Zoroastrian faith. She converted because I think that's the only way they could have got married, whatever, but she was a believer. She never, and the thing is that the sons were absolutely lovely, and even when they were young, brilliant, full of fun, sang, etc. And they were very good looking boys. So you saw a lot of potential. And both of them decided to join the order, so they had a calling. The younger brother has since left, but this cousin of mine is now 68, and he leads the order with immense, and he is a bit of a revolutionary. So, like he was telling me, is why do we have to say that Mary was immaculate? God can make people immaculate, so God washes away that stain. And is it possible that if she was beautiful and lovely, and she lived in the Middle East at that a period in time where very few women were allowed to remain virgins? So you had constant wars, etc., etc. So I think basically, but I think out of all that, God makes something beautiful. No? So I think God wouldn't tomorrow say, oh, I must have a virgin as the mother of my son. Would it make a difference whether the woman is a virgin or not? Because normally it doesn't. You can have a tramp having a lovely child. If no one knows the mother's a tramp, the child will still have a lovely life. If the mother's a millionaire tomorrow and sobers up, it's all. So it's basically what you know itself. You judge by what you know and your knowledge of things. But I don't believe that. And I think Mary genuinely was a devotee. And I think she also should have been she did a lot for the church, but I think the church has, at least the Catholic Church, has sort of pushed her down and kept her away, maybe because you'd have romances being written. But I think a religious person can enjoy the company of others also. So you could enjoy the company of women, you could enjoy the company of anything. And still, you don't have to partake of a lot of pleasures of the flesh, which is what a lot of our interactions are, no? So maybe you sin, your eye makes you sin, or whatever, you sin by looking, etc. But tomorrow I can have go out for dinner with a man who's married and not have a relationship.
What are you most grateful for?
I'm grateful for my faith, which I see as a gift from God.
And what's your greatest wish?
Because that it is through that faith that I am aware and experience His love. So the faith is basically a gift from God, that is His love. That I can be more one with Him and not bring Him to more people, but in my interactions with others bring about a bit of healing, which is through Him. So it's the love of God, etc. And not that irritation or that anger or that spaced out thing or wanting to smoke a cigarette. So when I meet someone, I would like to convey a bit of that love silently and a bit of that faith and hope in God and other things.
Thank you so much.
Was it good?
Beautiful.
Sure?
Beautiful.
Boring?
Beautiful.
Useful?
Yeah, very useful. Anything else? Are we okay?